Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Just we make this live in our Facebook group. I think we should do that.
You're welcome to, although I was going to post the replay with like the links afterwards.
Okay.
So up
Let's
to
see.
you.
All right, got it. Let's see here. I love coaching community and going live. Okay, very good. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Real Talk. It is Real Talk. What is this? May. Real Talk May. And to give you guys a little background on what a Real Talk is, we have amazing coaches. Let me shut this down. Perfect. We have some amazing coaches on this. Can we do the spotlight, Jess, or how that works? We have amazing coaches here that what we're going to do is the coaches are going to have a real conversation. Now, inside the I Love Coaching world, REAL is an acronym for relevant, experiential, authentic leader. And what they're going to do is have a conversation about tech. We're going to have a conversation about tech and how it helps them in their worlds of health, wealth, and relationships and everything thereafter. And so we have today with us, we have Kim, Chris, and Daria are our coaches that are going to talk today. Though, here's what I want to do. Kim, Chris, and Daria, y'all introduce yourselves. Where are you from? And what's your superpower? That's my favorite question. Where are you from? And what's your superpower? Kim, you go first. Ladies first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kim Rogany, and I am located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I am a coach with I Love Coaching. My superpower. I always want to come up with something creative. No. What is a good superpower?
I know your superpower. We all know your superpower. It's your marketing. For the love of.
Oh, okay. For the love of marketing. Yeah, we'll just say that. For the love of social media. You can follow me on social media.
If you aren't following Kim right now on Instagram, I want you to go follow her right now. Kim, put it in the chat and have them go follow you because her segments on For the Love of are fabulous. Yeah. Hello, Kim. Welcome. Daria, your turn.
Hey, I'm Daria Crater. I'm in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. I'm a coach with I Love Coaching. I'm also in sales director of a team, an independent firm here. And my superpower is, gosh, I feel like people come in my office and they just get to open up and they come in and there's no judgment and they leave and we usually hug and cry and lots of tissues. So I feel like my superpower is I'm just welcoming and you know, people are drawn to that. So.
Gotcha. Love it. Love it. And Chris, Mr. Chris, we'll save you for the last here. Talk to us.
Yep. My name is Chris Orsini. I am out of Coral Springs, Florida, which is just a little west of Fort Lauderdale. They've got the beach. I've got the Everglades. Nice. I own a company called Leverage Strong along with Jess Weber. I am a Keller Williams University approved trainer, as well as the current president of Labs Advisors. Nice. I would say my superpower is taking complex systems and boiling them down and simplifying them.
Gotcha. Love it. Perfect. Okay. Let's dive into a tech talk here. So audience members, this is what you can do anytime during our conversation. You can chat, put something in the chat, whether that's a question, whether it's a comment, whether that's an argument that you want to start here. That's totally cool. You can do that as well. And we're going to have a conversation right now on tech tools. We're going to have a conversation in the world of technology that from a coach's perspective and a human's perspective helps empower us to be better, right? In the health space, in the wealth space, and in the relationship space, and then everything there in the middle. So let's just start with a question. Do you all like tech? Do you like technology? Do you embrace technology? And if you do, what specifically do you like about it? Anybody can answer. One of you guys, and we'll start the conversation.
Yeah, I'll start first. I have a love-hate relationship with technology. I love it when it works. I hate it when it doesn't, yet at the same time, I know that it is very necessary in order for me to run an efficient business. I'm not afraid of it. I'm definitely not the first to get in line when a new iPhone comes out. I'm probably the third or fourth. And So that's how I would explain technology in my world.
Got it. Love it. Chris, Daria, what do you think about technology?
I love technology. Most of my family friends, they live in a different area of the country. So this is a way that I can connect with them on a regular basis through so many different platforms. Having a teenage son, it is a great way to connect with him through Snapchat because, you know, regular talking doesn't even work at this age. So that is one way I love to connect with him. And then I embrace it. I'm a tech junkie. Like Kim, I'm not the first one to run out for the new iPhone. I want them to work the kinks out. But I just love learning new programs and I love design. I love to work in Canva and design and market.
And we're not going to go down the social media rabbit hole, though. Snapchat, 12 and 14-year-old, my 12 and 14-year-old are snapping everything. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm old. I'm not old, but I don't use Snapchat, but they're all about some snap.
I was not on it until I realized he was talking to my sister, you know, his aunts, his uncles. And I was like, maybe this is way I can get on it and we'll just snap each other. We'll be in, you know, a room next to each other, but we're just communicating through Snap and it's working. So I'm not going to change it.
Perfect. Perfect. Chris, Mr. Tech Guy himself, what do you think about a little technology?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a tech person. I think most people will look at me and think I'm a tech person and see my career and call me a tech person. I'm more of an innovation person, right? And what I find is that when you use technology for the right purpose is when you become a tech person. I know the times that I lean on technology with the intention of it to do my job for me is when I hate technology. When I use technology to systematize myself and to innovate and simplify my systems, that's when I love technology. So like Outlook, I hate Outlook with everything in me. Right? There's some technologies out there that I love to hate and that deserve it.
Curious, Chris, I want to stay there for a second. You said the word simplify, right? And I do believe that tech has really helped our world become simpler. Though, is that, do you have a specific go-to when you think of simple? What in your world, be it as a human or a coach, any way you want to look at it, what tech do you use on a daily basis that helps you simplify things?
So there's a lot. And it really, I mean, I'm going to start with books, right? Books are a technology. Let's be honest, right? Anything, any sort of innovation is a technology. Shovels are a technology, right? So I'm going to start with a system first and then plug in this, or start with a system or a model first and then plug in the technology. So I'm always going to lead with the MREA. I always walk into a tech consult asking, what are your systems? How are you implementing the MREA? And then from there, I'm going to diagnose where technology can be the leverage to simplify your business or buy you back some more time.
That's good.
Yeah.
Daria, Kim, what do you think about that?
Yeah. So I've got 2 assistant productivity coaches underneath me, and we communicate all day long through a Google Doc form. It's a spreadsheet. We're constantly talking to agents on the team. And sometimes there's not enough time in between coaching sessions or, you know, trainings to update each other. So we have one sheet, we each have a color, and we take all the notes and put them in there. So that's something that is updated. And as they're onboarding, as we have new agents onboarding, we have a checklist. It will have the assignment or, you know, whatever they have to do, the new agent, and then who is responsible for checking it. And we all check the boxes. So again, at any point of the day, I can just look at my checklist and see where people are instead of interrupting my productivity coaches and saying, hey, give me an update on so-and-so. So it has simplified and given us a lot of time back.
That's good. That's good. Kim, can you think of anything in the simple word?
Yeah, I would have to agree with Daria. I've said this before on some of our real talks, is I'm a huge fan of the Google Suite. And what I like about it too is it's very easy to find resources and help, right? Because you can Google how to search, you know, a Google Sheet, or how to find or how to create. And so I like that. And that's where I would say I'm technology resourceful, is I can I don't know all the answers, but I can go find them when I'm creating something. And I am hugely addicted to Google Forms.
Yes.
Love Google Forms. I truly believe, like, anytime that you have to collect data in an organized fashion, that is by far one of my favorite tools.
Just curious, give an example there of a data collection that you use a Google form for.
Ooh, thank you. I love that. So I do use it with my coaching clients.
Okay.
And so anytime that I onboard a new coaching client, I send them a form.
Okay.
And I want to get their personal home address so I can send them a thank you note. I ask for their birthday. I have them rank all of the circles of their life on a scale of 1 to 10, from their spiritual to their financial to their business, right? So that if we're on a coaching call and we're kind of stalled, I can go and visit that and I can say, oh, remember when we onboarded and you ranked your personal finances, a 5 out of 10. Let's explore that. So I use it for that. And sometimes people will tell you more, right? If you think about some of us are auditory, some are visual, some are a little bit, more, they can communicate by voice more. Sometimes a client will tell you more in writing than what they will do verbally. So I've also find that with a Google form. And for anybody on here, any business you're running, whether you're a real estate agent, financial advisor, you're in lending, you imagine doing that with all of your clients, collecting some more personal data about them that you can later on utilize to connect in a deeper way.
Good. That's really good. Definitely you're using Google Forms as a communication tool.
Yeah. And any data,
Yeah.
even personally. And I
data
think I
collection.
mentioned this at one time, being a volunteer on a board or as a parent, right? We need to collect the t-shirt sizes and how are you going to pay? Are you going to pay by Venmo? Or are you going to pay cash? Or are you going to pay check? It's going in a form.
Yeah, that's good. Let's transition now the conversation to forward facing your clients, right? Kim, you alluded to a little bit there of using the Google form to have data collection with your clients. We'll stay in the real estate space, and the real estate space specifically in tech. What are you coaching? What are you finding your clients are using tech-wise? As we're in a wild world of real estate right now, we don't know if it's up, we don't know if it's down, we don't know if it's flat. It's all over the board, right? I've got New York clients that are just through the roof, and then I've got California clients that are sinking like the Titanic, right? So what tech tools are you finding you guys are either coaching to or you're coaching with your clients to help their business go up and to the right?
ChatGPT, people.
Ooh, tell us more. A little AI feature.
Yeah. Is anybody here, like Chris or Daria? Are you guys exploring?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I played with it a lot. And it's really cool. Like I use it with like Google Sheets. By the way, I asked, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Google Bard is Google's answer to ChatGPT. 2 days ago, I asked Google Bard how to do something in a Google Sheet, and it did not give me the correct answer when ChatGPT did give me the correct answer, because Google had just updated their user interface and not updated their support articles. So I still lean ChatGPT. There's a lot of leverage there. There's also a lot that you do need to peruse before you make public. It's great for writing emails for you, social media content, scripts for videos, and it's also a great waste of time.
Yeah.
And in this market, most of the technology that a lot of agents are leaning towards that people consult with me about are a distraction from what you really need to be doing. The most important piece of technology right now in this industry is this right here.
Yeah. Call your people.
Yep. Pick up the damn phone.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many agents I tell that to. Just stop writing blogs, Forget about your website. Nobody cares about your website. Zillow's the first one on any search. Just get in your database and pick up the phone.
I love that, Chris. I'd say for Chat GPT, it's a great way to get started.
Mhm.
So, if you think about any sort of projects or any sort of content, or maybe we need to come up with a new script, or, oh, I love this one. You can actually utilize it for, you've got 5 ingredients and you want to ask for a recipe. So there's ways you can use it in your personal life too. And so just as an example, here's one, because we're all looking to connect with new people. I was attending a new BNI group, and I needed to come up with a 60-second introduction. And so I just was like, well, I'm just going to go test it. And I went to Chat GPT and I said, act like. So this is a little tip for you guys. If you tell it how to act. So I said, act like a professional speaker that's on the level of Tony Robbins. It's literally what I told it. I said, and create a 60-second introduction for a group of people that you've never met before. What it did was it got me to a 5. So like when you're on a team, the whole point of being on a team is someone starts it, gets it to a 5, and then the next person has an idea and they get it to a 6. And then the next person has an idea and you get it to a 7. And then as a group, you get it to a 10. So Chat GPT gets whatever you're looking to do to a 5 or a 6, and then you make it your own and you have to finish it. So
I agree. I was going to say, I don't 100% trust Chat GTP. I like it for, like you said, Kim, just the beginner, and then I go and tweak it to make sure that it sounds more like my voice coming from me, not just kind of where people will be like, whoa, that doesn't sound like what she's always pushing out.
yeah.
That's really good.
And it's a great tool for coming up with topics as well. So I teach a class around internet lead gen and follow-up. And part of that is a 12-day follow-up plan. And everyone's like, what do I say for 12 days in a row? And this is a great way to find, ask it for relevant real estate topics right now. What are the things first-time home buyers should know? All right, now write me a dynamic and concise email about XYZ, right? And it's use those as many adjectives as you can throw at it. And then you can always, continue the conversation with and say, write that in 3 sentences, or write that with a joke, write that dynamically. That's one of my favorite things to test out AI with jokes. Then you can really see how deep and how much it gets you. And I think the jokes are really bad for now because AI is trying.
Jokes, Chris, they're dad jokes.
They're dad jokes, but I think they do that intentionally because AI is trying to take over and it wants us to think that it's stupid, right? But it's actually smarter than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dad jokes are great, by the way.
I know, of course they are.
Now, I was playing with it the other day, and I absolutely love AI. I have no fear of AI. I've personally used AI, Chat GPT. I have not used GPT-4 yet, though I think that looks incredible as well. And I've had it write law agreements for me. I've had it write release agreements for me. I've had it write agreements to pay for me. I've sent it to my own attorney that is on retainer and said, is this good enough to send contractually based in the state of South Carolina? He said, who wrote this? And I said, yes or no. And he said, yes. And I said, great. I don't need any other advice. I don't need you to charge me for an hour. Just give me, 15 minutes worth. And
now you're fired.
So it's worked really well there. And now check this one out. I did use this. I asked it, I said, what is the home ownership percentage of this specific county? And how frequently do people sell their homes in that county? And it actually gave me pseudo answers, which I could not verify. I did take it to the Googles and it was somewhat similar when I asked Google the same question, though it got me thinking, can we then take something like that? And let's just hypothetically say Charleston County. Right. So Charleston County, what is the homeownership percentage of the population here in Charleston County? It came up about 65%. So great. What percentage of the time do people sell their homes in a time period, and it said about 7.5 years. So could you take that percentage base of your database, right? So now if you go into your database and you say, okay, fine, I've got 600 people in my database and 400 of those live in Charleston County. Take that 65% against that, whatever number I just said, and that's how many people own homes, should own homes in your database. Take that number divided by 10 if it's every 10 years they sell, and that's how many people in your database should be selling this year. And I was like, whoa, now we can get purposeful in our database related to the calls that Chris just said and pick up the phone and call those people. Now you could go one step further. I don't know if ChatGPT could do this. Can we go public call? Can we go pull public records and see who bought their home at what year compared to the data? And now we can get really intentional.
Yeah.
Oh, you just
absolutely.
reminded me of an awesome tool that I really love, Likely.ai, while we're on the AI topic. Who's heard of Likely.ai? Anyone?
Tell me
So,
more.
yep. So Likely.ai is a service. Yep.
Yes.
They're currently working on partnering with KW to get into Command. I didn't tell you that, by the way. I think I might have violated an NDA somewhere. So that's
We're not being recorded at all, Chris.
yeah, at
We're
all, or
live on
streaming
Facebook.
anywhere,
Live
whatever.
Yeah.
No, so what they
Your
do
last name
is
Welton, right? It's Chris Welton. I think it is, right? Yeah.
mine.
That's a
Oh,
joke.
yes.
That's
Okay, I see where you went
Yeah,
there. Sorry. All right. So yeah, what Likely.ai does, they've got two services, two main services. One is database refresh, where you can upload your database into their system, and they check it against public record and run it through their AI, machine learning, all the buzzwords, and it'll come back with a report to tell you who is most likely to buy or to sell in the near future. They also you can license an entire county where they'll give you a list every month.
Wow.
Based on public record, who is most likely to sell in the near future. And what's really cool is they only charge you, like when you upload your database, you only pay for the likely sellers. You don't pay for the entire database, and you get to review it before even buying it. So great value. Really, I've been in contact with the CEO a lot, and just really great guy, really great company.
Chris, there was a question here from Justin. It says, Chris, doesn't Likely AI also work with Follow Up Boss?
Yes. So they work with Zapier, so they'll inherently work with any system, which Zapier is another one of my favorite leverage tools. But Follow Up Boss is the one CRM that they do connect directly to.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah,
Good to know.
that's good.
Yeah.
And it emphasized the importance of data. So when you talk about like conversations that we're having as coaches with our clients, is if I'm a typical agent and I have data all over the place, like, oh, my database is my phone, my database is my Gmail. I'm like, well, first of all, those aren't databases, right?
Correct.
Those are just systems.
Thank you.
And, like you got to put that all together.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how you win. And that's how you build a business. When you go to sell your business, it's because you have data and relationships. But if it's all over the place, you don't have anything. And so that's just another reason why compiling all of this data that's all over the place, put it in one system, whether it's Command, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet. We don't want to do that. But anyway, gather it, put it in one place.
Why don't we
That's the biggest
transition to
leverage.
that? Transition to CRM conversation right now. If
Yeah.
there's
Oh, I
tech
love this
tools
one.
that we
What is the
need to
biggest leverage?
master, what is the best CRM out there?
The one you use.
Use. Yep.
Right? So let's talk about that. So Kim, you continue to talk. You've got a client that says, I can't wait to be coached by you. This is going to be amazing. The very first call, you say, show me your database. And you're saying, data what? What do you say? What do you do?
Well, I'm always just going to start with understanding what they're comfortable with, because I don't want to tell them to use one thing or not. And so obviously whatever brokerage we're with, we're like, why would you just not use whatever the brokerage provides? Let's just start there, because most brokerages do. Start somewhere to organize it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we start with.
Yeah.
Daria and Chris, when it comes to organizing a database, what should we talk about there? Just curious, total curiosity there.
Yeah, definitely tags. You have to tag the people. You have to put them in the right stage so you know who your ABC buyers or your prospects, your nurtures are, however you want to tag those stages. And then you can also do tags by like counties, town, past client, new client, friend, family, sphere, whichever. But then you can also tag them for timeline of when you should be following up. And I mean, to me, the tags and the stages are the most important piece after putting in, name, phone number, and email address.
Mhm.
Yeah, agree.
Chris, is there a CRM that you like more than another right now?
Well, I mean, I'm KWU approved, so I have to say Command, but Command really is. Now, again, a CRM is the best CRM is the one you use, right? Same thing as a camera. One conversation I have with agents a lot is stop having the features and benefits conversation and start having the business conversation. So when I was working with United Home Group, I was in months and months of conversations with Chime, the CRM. And after doing some research in Chime, I steer everyone as far away from it as possible. Reason being is, again, features and benefits, probably one of the best CRMs out there. And they're really cheap. So that's one thing to realize when you see something that is high value and low cost to the point where it doesn't seem to make sense, guess who the product is? It's going to be you, right?
That's right.
Why is Facebook free? Why is Google free? Because you're the product, right? That's one thing. Two, I did some research about the CEO, the founder of Chime. And historically, he has been a serial entrepreneur. He builds a product and sells it. That's all he's ever done. And now he's launched Chime, and I have no faith that this owner is not going to take all of my data that I am feeding into Chime and sell it to Zillow. Right. And I even talked to one of their reps at Family Reunion. They're like, oh no, our policy is that we won't do anything like that. I'm like, yeah, well, Dotloop's policy was that they weren't going to share any of your data with any of their partners. And then they got bought by Zillow, and oh, hey, their terms of service just changed out of nowhere to be retroactive to 2017. If I'm going to put my faith in anyone, it's going to be a business or a company that's got values like Keller Williams, right? I know that I can put my data into Command and it's not going anywhere, and that it's safe, and that I'm not having to worry about Zillow or other competing companies or brokerages getting my data. KV Core right now, guys, like, let's be real. Like, our industry is a few acquisitions away from really shifting tides, right? KV Core is in the majority of our big brokerages right now, right? What happens if Zillow goes and buys KV Core like they did Dotloop?
We call that a big database.
Yeah.
That's what we would call that, a big database. I don't want to leave this, Chris, but I want to move and transition to CRM and data points, right? So specifically the conversation of data points for realtors, which I believe the majority of our listeners are right now, and collecting data points. So as of 2021, per the Googles, Facebook has tracked and collected 52,000 data points per user. User. They have data points up to 52,000. This was 2 years ago, team. 52,000 data points per user. So go back to Chris's statement, tech that is free, you are the end product. Though, as we look at our database, let's go down the black holes here. As we look at our database as realtors and entrepreneurs, how many data points do you have of your clients, of your customers, in your database,
Mm.
right? How many data points do you have? So gosh, we could go in many different directions here. What would y'all say to someone that's collecting data points, right? How do you go get them? What can we suggest to our listeners, or what would you suggest to your clients how to go collect data points? Or if there were points, which ones do you think would be the most important to collect?
Well, okay. So the point of collecting a data point is so that you get contact information.
Mhm.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So that is the point, right? And so whatever tools that you're using to get the contact information, it does a lot of times start with bringing value. So if you think about what you click on a lot of times, it's, you get to a website and it says, oh, or even you're on a podcast, and if you go here, I'll give you the top 10 tips for X. And then you fill in your name and you fill in your email and your phone number just so you get those top 10 tips. So as a business owner, when you think about when you're putting yourself out there, where can I provide value and then collect data, right? I'm thinking about Linktree. Like, oh my gosh, if you guys aren't using Linktree, like if you're a new business and you don't have a website yet, just like go buy a domain name and point it to Linktree, and you can collect data there. Or, that's kind of where I would start. That's basic, if I'm understanding the question correctly.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
Yeah.
And I think that capturing that type of data is good. Daria, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say definitely, like before mentioned, like phone, address, email address. We try to get their birthday also. We want to sell them a celebration card. And then we're using Follow Up Boss. So that actually brings in a lot of data points on its own. So it searches them on Google, and I can see their profile on Google. It will pull in their social media. We also have another system tied into Follow Up Boss called YLobo, which is an artificial intelligence tracker, and it will tell us when they are re-engaging or repetitively looking at a property through our website. And it will say, hey, you might want to touch base with this person. They've looked at this house 3 times in the last 2 days. So any type of data point that you can, pull in spouse, like it's, to me, it's like scary crazy, because it's collecting all this data and really they just filled in their name and their phone number and their email address. And when it comes into our back end, we're seeing all this other information. So I would say probably start with those. If you can get the others, that's like, cherry on top.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and it
So-
makes me think too, Adam, of BombBomb. So I don't know who here uses BombBomb, but I love the capturing that you can get, right? Like, so BombBomb is not a CRM, just like Constant Contact is. That's another thing. Sometimes I'll talk to a client and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm using MailChimp. And I'm like, well, that's not a CRM. That's a mass email platform, because technically you're not supposed to be able to do mass email from Gmail, right? And so you use a third-party email provider. Well, that's what BombBomb is. And when you're really maximizing the data points that you're getting from that platform, is you can see who opened it. You can see how many times they clicked. Did they hit play? If you had an Eventbrite link, did they click on it? Well, whatever I'm doing, if I'm like, oh my gosh, who should I call today? Well, if I just sent out an email, why not just call the people who clicked, right? There's familiarity there. Now you don't need to say, we all know Big Brother's watching. It's not like my script's going to be, hey, I saw you click 27 times, but it's much easier to make the phone call because they now know who Kim Rogni is, their realtor or whoever, because they've clicked.
Yeah. That's good.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. You were going to say something.
So yeah, it's, you start off with the basics, right? Basic contact information, right? If people always ask me like, oh, what's a bad lead? I'm like, the only bad lead is someone who I can't contact. If I have no valid phone number, email address, home address, then they're worthless, right? Aside from that, they're going to buy or sell eventually. If next I go into what are your systems and models, right? And what do you need out of their what data points do you need from them to feed your systems and models? What's involved in your 36 touch? Do you do a pie giveaway? right? Okay, now you need to know what kind of pie they want. Not everyone does pie giveaways, so that's not relevant information for everyone, right? And then work address is one people overlook a lot, because if I get a referral from you, should I send that thank you gift to their home or their job? Their job, so that everyone sees it.
Yep.
Right.
That's good. That's really good. Okay, so we touched on a little AI. We touched on a little CRMs here. We've gone down some black holes with who knows what's going to happen. Let's transition to health. Or let's transition to health conversations in the health space of technology, whether that's wearables, whether that's tracking tools, whatever it may be. God forbid the tracking that gets done in the wearables. Now they have more data. Sorry, but that's a conversation. So what are y'all using? What health-wise, what technology do you have in your worlds?
Do you mind if I jump in? Because I do need to jump off in like 7 minutes. I apologize. I double booked. So actually Jess double booked me. I'm going to blame her. So yeah, Apple Watch, like everyone's got some sort of wearable, right? We've all got them. For me, it's been the biggest impact on my health is the app Headway. Now it's not strictly a health app. Headway is, it's an audiobook platform. So what they do is they summarize this, essentially Cliff Notes. They summarize each chapter and then turn it into an audiobook. And it allows you to read a book within 15 to 20 minutes.
Nice.
So for me, it's been massive for my mental health. I personally I'm not the kind of person that can read a book and retain the information very well. I'm that person that reads a page and I'm like, what the hell was that? There were words in there. I don't know what they meant. I'm a bigger concept kind of person. So this allows me to grasp concepts a lot quicker. And they have a ton of books on physical and mental health. And in less than a 2-year period, I've read over 100 books. Wow. And a good portion of those have been around mental and physical health.
That's one of my favorite apps. I wrote that one down too.
Love that.
One of my
That's
favorites.
a really good one.
Speaking along that line of like just mental health or kind of that app space, I like Pep Talk. It's in the morning, it will send you like a little memo of a saying to pep you up, and then they also send you a second one. It will give you anywhere between a 5 to 15 minute clip of a speech or movie clip or something just inspirational to really start your day off. So that's another one that I like to use. And Adam, I don't have a wearable. I don't have an Aura. I don't have an Apple Watch. I am old school. I just write down a lot.
So you just check your pulse, right? You just do this, make sure.
Feeling good.
I actually received an Apple Watch for Christmas this year from my husband, and my kids were like, "Mom does not want that." And I got it. I'm like, "Oh, this is so nice." And he's like, "You want to return it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so."
Free gift. That's good. Kim, you got any health world tech that you use or promote?
I do. So I don't know if there's any intermittent fasters here, but I've been living a intermittent fasting lifestyle for almost 3 years. So my favorite apps that go along with that are Life, L-I-F-E. And then also recently I brought on the app EWG, Healthy Living, and it has a scanner so that you can scan the ingredients of products, and it's only because I'm studying that right now. Yeah.
So good.
And so it's missing a lot. I don't know if it's newer, but I just got it recently just because I'm super hyper focused on what's in the products that I use, whether it's a lotion or it's something I eat or drink or whatever. So I'd say that.
Kim, for most of my adult life, I've never ate breakfast, and everyone told me that I was so unhealthy. And then all of a sudden intermittent fasting is a thing. And now I guess by default, I'm more healthy.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We could have a whole podcast about health.
Here's what it does. So this was just like a yogurt that I had here, and it tells me that it's a 4 out of 10. So I basically ingested garbage is what it's telling me, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
4. I got a 4.
And it's just good to know, because the fact of the matter is, if anybody listens to any podcasts about health or researches about it or reads books about it, is, the facts are our food, it's not real anymore. And so, I mean, trust me, I'm not perfect by any means. I think I had a Wendy's Frosty yesterday.
Good.
Yeah.
I didn't scan that baby. I just ate it. But
That could have
the
been a
point,
one.
Well, you know what's fascinating about that, Kim? Dr. Amen, who wrote this book, he was talking on, gosh, I don't remember what podcast it was, but he was talking about that app, and he was saying how he used it in his Barbasol shaving cream and
yes,
realized the chemicals that were in the shaving cream
yes,
were so bad, were so off the chart,
Yes.
horrible to put on your face. He's like, done, threw it away and went to,
Wow.
I think he called it something else, what he went to. But again, wild, right? We don't even think about that stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
We just know that
You could've-
grandpa used that and now we use it, right?
He
Yeah.
could have just grown a beard, right? Like, and then before I jump off, I just remembered one more that I use every day, and this is for spiritual health. It's a website called Seeing Jesus Together, and they do an audiobook of, or a reading of the one chapter out of the Old Testament and one chapter out of the New Testament, and I listen to that every morning in the shower. And I got made fun of for it at Mega Leadership. My friend was like, "Are you listening to the Bible in the shower?" But it's, again, I'm not great at retaining when I read, so this is a great way for me to consume.
I love that. That's a really good one.
Yep.
Chris, thanks for your time. If you got to jump,
Yep.
that's totally cool. We'll end here shortly, gang.
Appreciate you.
You got it. Likewise. There are two that I love. I do love the Bible app. I mean, literally just the Bible app. For me, I'm very gamified person. It tracks how many times I've been into and read something. Today was day 502, which really keeps me motivated to get in there and read it every morning. And I'm a huge Aura ring guy. I know, Daria, that you're not a wearable, though. Again, very gamified in my head that I need to beat last night's score. So I go to bed maybe a little bit earlier, or I wind down easier at night so that I can have they give you crowns that if you exceeded the day before, or if you're in a good space readiness wise, you get a crown. And if I don't have a crown, I'm really mad to start my day. Though it's still a good tool to use, because we know from a health standpoint, you all can agree with me, sleep is the most important thing that we need. Outside of consuming the right food, sleep is numero uno.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that.
Cool. Anything else we want to provide here for tech conversation of a real talk? And then I'm gonna open it up to everybody and we'll have some Q&As.
I just have a cup. Go ahead,
good.
Daria. You go
Okay.
first.
I've got one, it's kind of like a shortcut app on your phone. So when you are writing repetitive messages or hashtags or content to social media, it's called Word Board, like Word Board. And then it lets you color code. So you just open the app. Actually, when you're texting and there's a little icon at the bottom, you press your icon, you find the color of whatever you want to insert, and then it automatically puts that in there. And that's been super helpful just to have quick responses, or if you're using hashtags or something on social media repetitively, so you're not always typing it out. So that's been a huge time saver for me.
That's really good.
Love it.
Tim?
Put that one down. Okay, so a couple of my favorite apps. One of them is Touch Note. And so it's a way for you to send postcards or notes with pictures. So a lot of times when I'm on social media, I'll take a screenshot. So like somebody gets engaged, gets married, loses a pet, goes on a family vacation, I'll literally take a screenshot, upload that picture, and send them a postcard. It's super easy to use. I love it. And I get tons and tons of compliments from it because it's very personal. And then another one that I use is called Marco Polo. And so I just have a really good girlfriend, and we send videos to each other every day. Like I wish I had it when I was a young mom, when I really didn't have time to communicate with people. Whatever, it's just how we stay connected. We send each other daily videos. So
that's really, really good.
Is that the one that tells you like right now, take a video of what you're doing and then send it, or is that something else?
No, that's something else. This one,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you could text videos, but I don't know, it's more fun on there because all the videos stay there. And like, sometimes I'll be driving home and I'll think of her and I'll just set it, like, she doesn't need to see my face, but I may just like, start talking to her, and
Gotcha.
That's good. That's
Gotcha,
really
gotcha.
good. I'm going to go on the flip side here real quick, and then we're going to open it up. I had a coach one time, and I think I've shared this with a few of my clients that are on here. As it relates to tech and specifically social media, I challenge you to delete it off your phone. Delete it off your phone for 30 or 60 days. Anything that you can scroll and black hole in, delete it off your phone and see what happens to your productivity. Kim, what are you thinking?
well, I'm thinking I have now, but like trying to like put a story out, 3 stories a day based on a coaching session that I participated in that you were in. And how am I going to do that if I take it off my phone?
I don't know. It was fascinating though, because this is a silly side story. I was in a training one time and I was sitting there and they said, turn your phones off, or they said something. I was like, everyone says that. So I was like, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to commit to taking my phone. I'm going to put it down and I want to track how many times my brain says, check something, check something, check something. And I started doing dash marks. 1 hour, it was 72 times I counted my brain saying, I'm focused, I'm listening, I'm focused, I'm listening. Oh, check something. I'm focused, I'm listening, check something. And I didn't pick it up, but I just put a dash mark every time it told my brain said to go check something. So that's on the flip side of the power of technology, but also still the power of technology, right?
Yeah. Well, so I can't get rid of my social media, Adam, but I do not get push notifications
That's good.
from Facebook or Instagram. Like, so that will sit until I.
That's
have
a good
to
idea.
check it. Yeah.
That's
So
a
what do
really
I do?
good
Like,
idea.
That's
Yeah.
It's a baby stepper. I could do that one.
Yeah.
So you're saying I shouldn't go live here on social media right now on the phone? What are you telling me? Okay, I'll eat my own words there. Okay, let's open it up. If you have a comment, a question, a suggestion, if you like this, if you hated this, it's okay. Unmute yourself and just talk to us. Go for it. Who has something? What do you have? Anybody? Thought I saw a hand go up. Nikki, did I see your hand go up, or you wanted to share something? Where'd you go? No, okay. All right, perfect. Anybody else have any tech tools that you love, you can't live without, that you are obsessed with, good or bad, that you should or shouldn't have on your phone?
I feel like I made this real talk happen, so therefore I have to say something. So for those of you that know me, I'm obsessed with spreadsheets. And ironically, actually, after one of our other coaching calls, we were talking about 75 hard and how some people really like to do that. And then some need to adapt it for themselves. So I actually built a tracker in a Google spreadsheet. So there's your Google, it's free. You can track things. So there's your data, but you can also customize it to fit your own goals and habits that you want to build. So I called it a 75 to thrive instead of a 75 hard, because the idea is that you can put in your own spiritual, your own physical, your own mental goals that you want to track habits on for 75 days. So I'll throw that link in the chat, but that's the kind of tech tool that I love that doesn't really require you to be a tech person. It's just a place, kind of like Kim says, with storing the data. And my plan was to also convert it into a Google form where you just go in and say, here's the date. Did you do these things?
Yeah. Love
Mark
that.
my words. Today is May. What is today? May 17th. It's 4:51 p.m. Her name is Jess Weber. She will be a billionaire one day because of the tools that she creates and then shares with the world. Mark my words. Yes, she makes and builds the most amazing Google tools. Yes, you do, Jess.
You are so sweet. No, truly it is. It's about helping people who find technology abrasive or confusing or frustrating and creating something that anybody can use. So Kim and I are cut from the same cloth because like Google Forms are my jam as well. I use them for everything. One of my favorite things is I do a weekly talk with somebody, you know, like a coaching session, and I have standardized questions that I ask them every week. So I built a Google form that literally has all the questions in it. So I just date stamp it, answer all the questions, and then I can look at their answers week over week and see the patterns in those answers based
Love
on those standardized questions. So again, just little things that really can level up the way that you talk to somebody, the way that you work without being, you know, really in depth.
That's good. That is
Right
really,
on.
really good. Okay, perfect. So we'll wind this down. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, anything? Anybody want to share anything? All right, got it. So this is a I Love Coaching Real Talk. We do these once a month. The coaches get to come together and talk about real stuff. And today was all about technology. Do we have a topic for next month, Jess, yet?
No, that's what the coaches have to decide on because we
Okay.
were debating between several last month.
Okay.
But we do have the date and time already set up. So what
Okay.
you can do is you can register and then we'll update you as we get those details. But that way, at least if you register now, you'll get the replay, even if it doesn't fit your schedule, and you'll get all the details. So
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Daria and Kim, please put in your contact information into the chat so these individuals can find you and follow you because you guys are amazing. Thank you for your time, energy today. Everybody, thank you all for being here. This has been a real talk. And oh, by the way, this guy, Jess, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to anyway. I want you to mark your calendars, November 2nd and 3rd. November 2nd and 3rd, mark it right now. If you haven't been to Charleston, you're going to come to Charleston. Charleston is where we were having our 4th or 5th annual I Love Coaching Whole Life Planning Summit. And this year we have, and we will be introducing you all to the one and only Mr. John Maxwell. He's going to come to Charleston. He is going to be our keynote speaker, which we're super excited about. So even if you have to start driving now to get here in November, start
Yeah,
driving.
super
It's gonna be
excited.
an amazing, amazing event. Yes. Okay. That's all I have for everybody. Thank you all for your time, energy
Thank
today.
you.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
next time. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.